First of all, there is an awful lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. People on social media, particularly fueled by the American right wing, are spreading a lot of untruths about what's actually in the provincial curriculum. Like, the federal government doesn't control what's taught in schools.
First of all, he make fun of us. That's how I look at it. And my brother Omar was so respectful and polite with him, and making us look like fool and that we are people who get influenced by others wasn't a good comment. Then he limped from there to saying there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation and stuff. And like, I guess he maybe never heard about what happened to that kid in the school of Edmonton.
The Islamophobia pushed by the previous Conservative government is that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that protects your religion, it gives you freedom of religion, that allows you to fully participate in the society, give you all protections, protects small minorities as well. And it's not a buffet.
To hear it from someone who considers himself the main leader of this country with this tone, and I'll be honest with you, this is disrespectful. First to the guy he's talking to, and for us Muslim.
On July 7, Justin Trudeau participated in a community event with George Chahal, the Member of Parliament for Calgary-Skyview. During this visit, a man from a Muslim community confronted Prime Minister Justin Trudeau about the increasingly inappropriate sexual content infiltrating schools across the country under the umbrella of diversity and inclusion and the LGBTQ advocacy. It's part of why we launched a campaign at StopClassroomGrooming.com, because this is no longer about education, but rather sexualized indoctrination and a slippery slope to grooming tendencies. The man in the video post on social media shared a story that emerged from Londonderry School in Edmonton, where a teacher berated a Muslim student for abstaining from a Pride Month event, which has many parents increasingly concerned about where the line is drawn between parental rights versus state-imposed ideologue. Today, I'm interviewing Mahmoud Moura, the individual who published the video of Prime Minister Trudeau. According to him, the man featured in the video, who is his friend, declined media coverage. Mahmoud Moura is an outspoken critic of the gender ideology and LGBTQ agenda being pushed onto young, impressionable children. During the Calgary Stampede, Mr. Moura took a picture with MP Shashra Singh Halan while he was wearing a shirt that said, "Leave our kids alone," featuring a stylized image of a family under an umbrella shielding them from a rainbow of colors. This picture received media attention, similar to the incident involving Pierre Poilievre and Daniel Smith.
Cops decided to charge me in based on hate crime, and that's criminal harassment, so on Facebook, something I've done. I don't know what it is. I never spread no hate. I would never do hate. And people talk about hate. Nobody could talk about hate more than us Muslim. And then even though I don't believe in it much, people could use that flag to fear tactic and divide the community, the society, for the upper guard to control the community and society. And I believe that's what's happening now.
Today, Mahmoud Moura aimed to provide his insight on the interaction his friend had with Mr. Trudeau. And during the exchange, Mr. Trudeau seemingly gaslight him and disregard his concern, likening the Charter of Rights and Freedom to a buffet where you cannot choose which protection you want.
The Islamophobia pushed by the previous Conservative government is that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that protects your religion, it gives you freedom of religion, that allows you to fully participate in the society, give you all protections, protects small minorities as well. And it's not a buffet.
He portrayed the Conservative Party as unsupportive of the Muslim community and attribute the spread of misinformation and disinformation to American right-wing sources. Let's check it out.
First of all, there is an awful lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. People on social media, particularly fueled by the American right wing, are spreading a lot of untruths about what's actually in the provincial curriculum. Like, the federal government doesn't control what's taught in schools.
The multiple thing you guys are doing to promote the LGBT, it's not preserving our right as Muslim, in our culture. And we share this value as every Christian, Jewish, or every people of faith, and some of the atheist people who doesn't agree. The president of the Muslim Center, he's a close friend of mine, and he's a very well-educated person and stuff, and he holds a position as a president of Akram Jum'ah Center. He's concerned, like many of us Muslim parent or politician or teachers or a lot of our Muslim community members concerned about what's going on with our kids in schools. And I believe he took on his back to carry the question when he met with Mr. Trudeau. And he asked him the legit question that all rights should be equivalent and stuff. And that's why he asked the question, just to see how could Mr. Trudeau do things to protect everybody's right, not to promote one over others. And that's why the question came, because we all witnessing and noticing that a small group trying to hijack the right of all other groups.
Justin Trudeau is accusing right-wing Americans of spreading misinformation and disinformation and deflecting some of the federal government responsibility over provincial jurisdiction. What are your thoughts on this?
I'll be honest with you, if you listen to the interview with Mr. Trudeau, first of all, he made us look like fool. As Muslim parent and community member, we're so easy influenced by the right wings, and those people, the ultra-right people, they were our enemies. We're getting fooled, not even by local American or local Canadian or local ultra-right. We're following the American values and stuff. First of all, he make fun of us. That's how I look at it. And my brother Omar was so respectful and polite with him, and making us look like fool and that we are people who get influenced by others wasn't a good comment. Then he limped from there to saying there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation and stuff. And like, I guess he maybe never heard about what happened to that kids in school of Edmonton. And I'll be honest with you, this incident that took place in the school of Edmonton, if it didn't have no recording to verify what happened with that teacher and how did she bully Mansour, the young Muslim kid, the black kid in that school, nobody even would have talked about it. But because they have evidence, they trying to kind of polish it up and make it something, oh, that's only one incident. It's not one incident. It's a tip of iceberg. That teacher, she wouldn't dare to speak with that tone with a kid if she didn't get protect or approval from a higher level of supervisor or principal.
I'll tell you, you were out to lunch. If you think it's acceptable to not show up because you think that there's some pride activities going on at school, right? Oh, that's fine. You know, because I'm going to show my opinion by hanging out at the mall. But meanwhile, all of those kids who are, you know, involved in, say, the Gay Straight Alliance or whatever, I don't even know if we have that anymore in our school, they're here when we did Ramadan for Lion Time, and they're showing respect in the class for your religion, right, for your beliefs. It goes two ways. If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you better give it back to people who are different from you. That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here. Because that is not what Canada believes. We believe in freedom. We believe that people can marry whomever they want. That is in the law. And if you don't think that should be the law, you can't be Canadian. You don't belong here. And I mean it. I really mean it. And it's not a joke, Mansour. I said back and forth. You want it, you got to give it.
Mr. Trudeau, he misled the answer is a question by going in a different direction, trying to blame it in the division of the society, trying to tell us Muslim, hey, you must be loyal to me. You're obligated to listen to me. I protect you. I promote you. I did. He said it many times. And when my brother Omar asked him about what happened at Minton, as you heard, he kept asking what happened to the teacher, what happened to the teacher. And I can guarantee you, he didn't know what happened to the teacher. All we do know is that there's some explanation letter came from the principal. It had been shared publicly. We don't know what the consequences was for her action.
The federal government doesn't control what happens to teachers in individual systems.
And in fact, I know for sure they're trying to cover it up and they're trying to put it under the mat. And I know of many incidents took place here in Calgary, but the students weren't able to record the conversation or the reaction of some of the teacher, how they put those kids under pressure for not attending the first day of June when they have the Pride months and stuff.
And in this video, Justin Trudeau portrayed the Conservative Party as a terrible party for Muslim community. Do you agree with his statement?
Yes, absolutely. This is a fear mongers. This is a fear tactic. This is a fear strategy they've been using for a while, trying to make the Muslim worried and scared. And if liberal loses, there's a beast sitting with a human kind of look, color, white, ultra-right people coming to kill you, destroy you, do this, do that to you. And I'll be honest with you, when some of our people get some benefit, or some of the politicians, a lefty kind of thing, they get their personal benefit, they trying to deliver the same message to our majority immigrant who doesn't speak, or refugee who doesn't speak the language. They're not fully aware of what's going on. And as Muslim, we should all know we are conservative by nature. Yes, we do have differences. Yes, there's something we don't agree all about it. And the biggest fear, or the biggest threat, or the biggest challenge for the Muslims, they fear from the conservative, is foreign policy, because what's going on in the Middle East and the other places. But I'll be honest with you, neither conservative or liberal, even NDP, they have different policy when it comes to that. They're all share the same value.
And at some point, Justin Trudeau mentioned that the Charter of Right and Freedom is not a buffet where you can pick and choose the protection you want. Do you think this is what the Muslim community is doing?
Absolutely no. This is to hear it from someone who considers himself the main leader of this country with this tone. And I'll be honest with you, this is disrespectful. First to the guy he's talking to, and for us Muslim. Because in a normal life, if you're a doctor and you're dealing with a doctor, you'll be using medical terms. If you're an engineer and you're dealing with an engineer, you're dealing with some math and science and stuff. And if you're dealing with someone who's a chef or a cook, you'll deal with him in a food level. He considers us as a people who cares only about their stomach, about their food, about what they eat. He made it sound like a buffet and stuff. This is what's disgusting. And we weren't there to pick and choose. And in fact, our concern is related to our child, to our daughters, to our boys, regardless what their faith is, if they're Christian, Jewish, Muslim.
And what do you make of this silence from the NDP, who are supposed to stand up for and to protect minority and to listen to their concern?
I'm going to be straightforward, and I'll tell you, I was so disappointed and surprised and disgusted by the reaction of some of the NDP, some of the social and humanitarian activists. When the incident took place in Edmonton and that teacher bullied a young student, those people are supposed to be in the front line. They're supposed to be calling for a protest to hold the right of that kids. They're so hypocrite, because if the conservative did something, they'll be taking the street to protest and to raise concern and have a huge deal about it. But because something been done by NDP union, a teacher who belonged to ATA, Alberta Teacher Association, and Board of Education, we all know who they're being controlled by. They're trying to say, oh, not to protest, do not take the street, let's send email, let's have meeting. But if it was vice versa, that kid who was bullied, and the teacher was straight, and the kid who was bullied was LGBT, from the LGBT community,
I believe United Nations would have meeting talking about it. The whole world would have talked about it. Mainstream media, those humanitarian socialist activists, they all went silent and quiet. And what make me concerned more and stick to my ground, and I consider this is not just something we need to object. Now we need to stand strong and fight for, because the amount of hypocrisy they have when they want to condemn what happened. They didn't want to approve what happened. They keep telling you a single incident. Some went in the other hand to tell you, oh, it's the kid's fault. Why did he take off one day of school? Well, if a kid took off day for any reason, he could take a day off. You never talk about it, but it's because he took a day off from the beginning of the Pride months, and that's what concerned him.
Were you surprised of the backlash and what happened with the controversy of you taking a picture with the MP Jasra Singh Alan, the MP, the Conservative MP?
I took a picture with no intention. I never discussed the subject with MP. He's a friend of mine, Jasraj Allen. He represents our area. He helped us in many occasions, and we know each other. And then I went to the breakfast, Stampede breakfast. My son was wearing that Leave Our Kids Alone shirt. And a father and son, on a Saturday, my son told me, why don't you change your shirt and wear like me? So both of us, we wear the same shirt. And another friend of mine was there. It was no intention to criticize or hurt. It's not hate message. When we said, leave our kids alone, LGBT people should say the same thing, leave our kids alone. We went there. We took a picture with the MP. No conversation took place, no discussion. He never knew I was charged. In fact, I keep forgetting I was charged, because this is the first time for me to get charged and face such a criminal charge, because I have no criminal record. I'm a good law-abiding Canadian citizen. I feel proud of this country. I used to believe in the authorities so much, and not anymore. I believe anytime you talk to a policeman, record and record and record. And I never thought about it. But so sad, like some of the people saying my message might hurt the feeling of some people who doesn't agree with my message. What about a lot of people who doesn't agree with the rainbow flag being raised in the Parliament House or in a city center or painting the street with it in every mall, in every corner? Why could we create division? If you don't like me wearing a shirt that represents some of my idea, I don't like what you wear. So if you want to take mine off, I should take yours off. This is not right. It should be back and forward. The beauty of differences that we could agree there's differences, but we should still deal with each other with respect. The biggest success we will have, if we are not going to be successful with freeing our school curriculum from the LGBTQ ideology, as the biggest success I believe we will have as a Muslim community, as a minority we used once to believe we've been targeted, that we took those walls of fear been implemented by the radical left, and that there's ultra people or right-wing people want to kill us. We took those walls down and we were able to build the bridges, line of communication between our community and the ultra-right people, the extremist people as they claim, or the Jewish people and other people. And this is the biggest success, to defeat the fear that Mr. Trudeau and the radical left plant in our heart and our chest, to be scared from these people, because we share this country and we're living in it together. And like, I want to just say it and clearly for my Muslim brothers and sisters, don't be fooled by Trudeau brought you to this country. There's a system in place to bring you here and you to be effective and to contribute into the society. He's not doing you any favor. The system exists for years and years and years, and this is what's Canada about. And if there's the challenges we have here and we're facing as Canadian nowadays, because the strategy and the policy of the liberal policy was taking place for the past 8 years in our country, and if someone should be responsible about it, I believe it is Mr. Trudeau and his way of dealing with us and the way he's divided our country just to stay in power. So that's what I want to advise all my Muslim brothers and sisters.
If you, like us, are really concerned about what is going on in the school system, you can sign our petition at stopclassroomgrooming.com. Sign it, share it with your friend or with some people that you know that are concerned also, and make a difference. So stopclassroomgrooming.com. Make a difference.